It is my honor to introduce our next keynote for this morning. And so Brian Pettit is the Group Executive Creative Director at GMR, which if you're not familiar with GMR, GMR is one of the largest experiential branding companies. They work with a variety of large brands all around the world. And so Brian's going to be talking about creating branded, immersive virtual experiences as part of an integrative marketing mix. And so we'll get to take a look at the metaversal landscape and making decisive choices to develop unique branded virtual worlds that deliver immersive stories and resonate with the audience. So he has a few different creative examples to talk about with us today. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and we'll get his slides pulled up. So let's give him a nice round of applause.
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
I fell off.
We need you to run diagnostics.
I figure I had to wake you up a little bit. Some music, we could have danced, all that good stuff. So what I would say about metaverse, and we'll go through our reflection on that space, is that what you are asking consumers to do, fans, participants, guests, is to escape into the fantastic. You're also asking your clients to go to a place they've never been before and escape into the fantastic. So in marketing, or when we look at our clients and their marketing mix, we're looking at how do we use this tool or touch point to expand their influence, build consideration, have people actually inspired to buy a service or a product. So we're looking at it as it's a new frontier in the marketing or integrated marketing channel mix. We have been doing live events for 40 years. We do a lot of digital work, video work, social media, lots of different touch points and mediums our agency works in. The metaversal space was something that we sort of fell into because what happened? COVID happened, right? We were about to do the Olympics in Tokyo. There's baseball, football, music festivals, all these places that our agency and our clients connect and intercept consumers stopped, absolutely stopped. We have an experience technology division, we have an experience design division, which is I'm part of, and we came together and said, okay, how are we going to solve some marketing communication problems for our clients? One of our biggest clients through a group of agencies called Nissan United from Omnicom. We service Nissan North America, and GMR's sort of swim lane, or what we focus on, is partnerships and activations. Prior to us coming on board, Nissan is sponsoring the Heisman House, all the Heisman winners in college football. And they had this huge tour that went across the country. We came on board, we started building this trailer that had social currency through content capture, where you could take a photo with some of the Heisman winners and send it out. We had speaking, meet and greets, swag giveaways, all that good stuff that happens in real life. But then we had to shelf this in a warehouse because, again, all the games were canceled. Everybody was not going anywhere. So we used our experience in doing applications and digital, physical environments and created a 3D environment. Kind of metaversal, right? Immersive virtual world. You could go into one of the vehicles and play a game where you could figure out what fight song was from each school and doing a mix and match thing. There was a sweepstakes. We had exclusive content with some of the Heisman winners. And we just used our experience in 3D modeling from building architecture and building footprints and tours and just said, hey, this is just a different user interface. And we can do games and exclusive content and all these things and make it really immersive and bring the consumers in and still activate that partnership even though nobody could go anywhere. And what it taught us was something about exclusivity, but also inclusivity. Because usually if you went to the Heisman House, you had to travel to go there or have a ticket to one of those games. Now, this is always on. Anybody around the world could jump in and have a Heisman experience. So we started learning some stuff about this. We also did a bunch of games.
Man, I caught everything when I played. Interceptions, passes, punts. Show me what you can do.
So doing some 8-bit games and making it really fun and getting consumers to engage with the brand and engage with Heisman and bring that partnership to life. Leveraging other channels and integrated marketing communications, right? These aren't places individuals are already going. Consumers aren't already going to this virtual Heisman House. You have to drive to it. So we use the talent and social and content and paid to push people in there. But the good thing is we can control the environment. It's not another platform. At the same time this was happening, there was a ton of buzz around metaverse. Roblox, Decentraland, we'll talk about some of those. But complex land was something we were starting to sniff on. We thought it was really cool. Media company that had an open world that you could jump in for free. There were non-player characters that had little thought bubbles. There were shoe drops, there was art shows, there were concerts, there was all this stuff. Super inclusive. Anybody could go there. And at the same time this was happening, on our journey, because of Heisman, we were asked by ESPN to solve a problem that the X Games had. And that was that they had all these sponsors that normally would be on the mountain in Aspen during the event that couldn't activate because there were no fans allowed. So they still had the X Games in Aspen, but they didn't have any fans there. So now, as ESPN and X Games, they have to figure out how do they allow these brands to activate where they can't activate. So we built this low poly world. As you can see, you go around. Wendy's had a game. Monster Energy had a bunch of exclusive content. On that stage there was the ability to do live streams with athletes. We had a photo op in the middle of the X Fest. So we had all these diversified experiences for the consumers that could go from anywhere in the world at any time, and we could activate for those brands on behalf of X Games where it wasn't available before. So we started learning on, this is a really amazing way to connect with consumers and create memories for these brands because they can go in at midnight. There's no really gatekeeping except for signing up with an email. They can decide to opt in and whether or not they want anything sent to them. And we always put a carrot out there. We had a sweepstakes on this one for a snowmobile or sled, as it would say in the X Games. At the same time, during this, I'll say 3 to 4 year period, COVID period, a little bit before that, Travis Scott kicks out a concert in Fortnite. Nike builds this beautiful sort of immersive world within Roblox. Sotheby's does a mirror of their London location and starts selling NFTs into Decentraland. And in Meta Horizon, Wendy's builds a hamburger retail environment. But the interesting thing is these are all platforms that exist. And what it made us start thinking is metaverse, like what is it, right? Like, is it here? Because meta means sort of like one, everything's one. And I think Eric touched on this. We started looking at all these platforms. So if we're gonna guide our clients, knowing what we know of building these immersive virtual experiences that are custom, How will we navigate these waters for our existing clients? Fortnite's a game, Roblox is a game, but Roblox, don't quote me, I believe it's 80% of all users in Roblox are 24 and under. And most of our clients are targeting individuals 24 and under. So we have to start making decisions for them based on what demographics there. You look at Sandbox, Decentraland, and Lumion, and they're all built on blockchain. Now I have to have a wallet to get in. Now I might need to have some crypto as part of my repertoire. So we start going, okay, legally, you know, that's a little bit challenging for clients to go buy some property with cryptocurrency. And as an agency, we have to look at some of the IP, some of the legalities of that. And then Horizon Worlds is amazing, but everybody has to have a headset. How many people have a headset? Pretty small number, right?
We're giving away one at the...
This is a beautiful thing, because they're really fun, and we'll show some work there. But so we start making some decisions on behalf of our clients on how to advocate for them to enter this space. And we start looking at, okay, metaverse. Is there really a metaverse? I mean, some of those worlds use headsets, some do not. I build an avatar. Can I bring the avatar between worlds? Not yet. I buy a pair of shoes in the metaverse. Can I wear them everywhere? No. One uses Ether, the other one uses Bitcoin, another one uses Dogecoin. So we start looking at what do we really mean by metaverse? And a gentleman by the name of, I'm going to forget his name, Philip Rosdale, who started Second Life, made an analogy about where we are today with the metaverse. And it was about, it's a bunch of islands, right? Roblox, Decentraland, Sandbox. But there's no bridges to these islands. So we look at the progression of where this space is going, and we have to be really critical about what that means. It's immersive, yes. It's always on, yes. We love it. It's virtual. It's interactive. But the two issues we are seeing as an agency that we have to be careful with when we guide our clients is the adoption high versus their target consumer? Are we going to find that consumer there? And the other one is it's seamless. Like if you invest in one, but you want to hit the other, how do you cross-pollinate? So we started talking about metaverse as metaversal because we really feel like it's not there yet. And then it became ish. And then it became the multiverse. So it's kind of hard to stick the landing on where this is going. But I would say to all the marketers out there and creatives, like you should explore. You should play around in these spaces, but you should be really thoughtful on how you bring those forth to clients. So we had a moment of caution because we kept getting these questions from all our clients. Should I go here? Should I do something here? Should I do this? There's tons of earned media. Every time a brand goes in the metaverse and does something, there's a lot of earned media, but you have to ask, are they resonating with the consumer? Are they reaching the quantity of consumers that other platforms would reach? And then we go back to the idea. You know, blockchain, there's that whole thing about sustainability. What coin do I need? What wallet do I have to have? Who's there? And we start talking about that internally, strategically on how to market to their target consumers. And we sit back and we go, but we love a bunch of these facets of the metaverse. Immersive virtual worlds, a great place to play. We had just done 2 of them ourselves. Avatars and characters, really fun for a consumer to show up differently and have the choice on how they want to move across the world. Games and gamification. We know this is very sticky for consumers. Content, branded content, and user-generated content. Elements that you can provide in the metaverse, you can provide on web. Social connection, right? It's all about being in a space and getting to interact with each other. And then the idea that it's always on and inclusive, we really love, because from doing live events at like World Cup or the Olympics or a music festival, some of the challenges are not everybody can go to those. But now we can bring it to anybody in an immersive world. And then exploration and journey. I mean, the beautiful thing about marketing in these spaces are you're allowing consumers to explore and have these fantastic experiences. But there's two sides to the coin. And this is where it got really unique for us. The question was, build on an existing platform that has all these sort of challenges that we see and friction points, or build custom. I'm not saying that existing platforms are bad. I'm saying explore them. They will become part of the marketing mix. I'm just saying as an agency at the moment, we've decided to take a little bit different pathway. A pathway we feel is metaversal, but it's not on existing platforms. And I think we're gonna get there. I mean, I can guarantee you in the next year or two, we will do something for a client in an existing platform. But at the moment, most of our work has been doing platforms that are custom, that they can own, and that we can control, and are as frictionless as we can make them. They resonate because we can build it any way we want to. So, one solution that has happened in the last couple of years is a B2B solution. I love B2C, but you gotta talk about B2B, right? I mean, it's super important because it's part of our marketing world. HPE, not the consumer products, but the business products, HPE Enterprises, has this platform, cloud to edge computing, right? And they generally did a conference where they bring a ton of people in, and it was trade show-esque, and they would entertain and market to them and educate them and connect with them. A beautiful thing. But they wanted, in this landscape coming out of COVID, to do something really unique for C-suite clients. And they also sat with a portfolio of partnerships, F1, a bunch of collegiate academia partners, NASA, and they wanted to prove out how their product was utilized authentically with those partnerships. Like there was a reason to believe. So they sent out a bunch of VR headsets to these guests, very exclusive, and we built a world for them to educate them and interact with them.
Welcome to The Edge, where innovation meets opportunity.
So you would go in, and there was a guide there to guide you, right? Getting a headset and jumping into something is not very easy. There's a lot of friction there. So we built a guided experience. I'll let her talk. She's got a better voice. It's British, right? I mean, it's...
You'll be discovering 7 distinct sounds from The Edge. When you see the visual cue, press your right trigger button to capture the sound.
So you got to pick your avatar and go in and be guided through this experience.
Turn your head or rotate your view with your right thumbstick to find each of the hidden sounds. Between you and your goal are a series of split-second decisions that will determine your place on the podium. You'll choose between 2 highlighted objects. Let's go.
We're starting from 4th position in today's race. We have a great shot at the podium if we use our data to make all the right decisions.
We can add front wing for more front downforce. That will help you get close to the car in front.
So that's a real radio interaction with Lewis Hamilton and his pit crew.
Point you when we're in free air.
He won. Brilliant. What an incredible race. Really well managed. And you took everything to the limit. Great win.
Suit up and join us among the stars.
We have quite a view up here, don't we? Take a minute to enjoy it. Spaceborne Computer 2 allows us to process data in space, providing insight in minutes. Hey, you up for a spacewalk? Of course you are.
And that's just some of the background work and how we built it. So it was a really good solution for them to not bring in individuals to a conference and be able to be really surgical about the story they were telling. And we made it as frictionless as possible. As I said, we had a guide there. You met in the Edge, and we built that environment, and you basically walked around and would dive into these little micro interactions around how they bring their partnerships to life and how that data computing and all that stuff is helping the F1 team, helping research at colleges, helping the space station, and you could sit there and you could actually pick up a banana and throw it across the room because you have the controllers in your hand. So this is something that is completely B2B in this situation, but there's no reason this couldn't be launched into the meta marketplace. There's nothing proprietary here. This could be a consumer engagement any day of the week, except for the fact that they're not marketing to consumers. They're marketing to, individuals that are making decisions about technology within their companies. But as far as a medium and an application, VR is really, really amazing and really immersive. And there's ways to deploy it, whether it's direct to consumer or through the marketplace. So it's a place that we're going to continue to develop. And it's, I think there was an ability to use some of them headsets last night or something. Like, it is a really great format because you have sound, you have sight. If you build environments, which we have before, physical environments that you go in and then put them on, it becomes really sensorial, which is a way of imprinting a memory. And that's what we're really trying to do, is really connect with those consumers for the brands. And it's metaversal to most people. It is the metaverse. The other custom business to consumer, business to human, is back in this world. So this is live right now. We just launched about 3 weeks ago. Heisman, I'm calling it 2.0, because the first one you saw was a pivot because we had to figure out how to activate their partnership. And we had that space for 2 years. That space was, again, a three-dimensional environment, first person, you didn't have an avatar, and you could walk around and explore. This one is born out of the fact that we're on the road again. So we're doing physical tours at Heisman games or college football games where we have talent show up. We have the giant Heisman in the back of the truck, which we mirror in the virtual space. We have a jersey swap right now, which you put on your jersey and your name's on a Heisman jersey. And the nice thing about that is when you build for the physical digital space like this, you can also use some of those modules in the virtual space. So it starts becoming an efficiency play on something that can be used for marketing in real life and marketing sort of in the virtual space. That's pretty exclusive because I have to go to the game, but when we bring it online, it's very inclusive because anybody can jump in. So we were at a shoot for the commercials that TBWA is doing for Nissan, and we brought in this giant truck with about 1,000 cameras that scanned all the mascots and all the Heisman winners. They just stood there and we scanned them. Should play. And it's not playing. Oh, there it is. Thank you for that help. So basically, we rebuilt that world, that first Heisman world, but we built it with avatars. So you go in, you create your avatar. We do a ton of studies about inclusivity, skin tone, shape, size, all that. You have to be really thoughtful about how you build some of these worlds and being as inclusive as possible. So these are the actual Heismans that were scanned, and we built them into avatars, and we rigged them and did all this crazy stuff. You register, there's a sweepstakes, because I'll tell you as marketers, one thing that drives people into these spaces is the fact that you can give them something. You reward them for engagement. I cannot stress that enough. These aren't existing platforms. We're building them. We have to drive. We have to market them. But the key is if there's something they can win or get out of it, consumers will go there. So you basically walk around, and as you walk around, you get close to a vehicle. You can find out information on the vehicle. But there's all these little, we couldn't do any VO with the athletes, but we did all these scripts, and these scripts show the consumer that Nissan is authentic because these are kind of inside baseball or inside football, witty, funny, entertaining little scripts. You can see all the commercials, which are all based on entertainment and being funny. The whole concept brings to life the broadcast above the line work into this virtual space because that work is about all the Heismans living in a house and kind of competing with each other. So the whole premise of these guys just living together, kind of poking fun at each other and always being competitive, like they never turn it off. So in the house, which you'll see in a little bit, we build a bunch of games that brings that behavior to life for the consumer. There's a thumb war game when you go to it, where you can play thumb war against one. There's a staring game where you literally use your camera on your phone or your computer and stare at one of the Heisman avatars, and if you blink, you lose. So we're building all this technology into these virtual spaces. Now, could we build this into Decentraland or that? Not at this fidelity. We can control the creative. But we would argue that whether it's on an existing platform or custom, it is still that idea of metaverse, of going in an immersive space, connecting with others, having some fun, playing some games. It has all the attributes. It's just not blockchain. You don't have to have a MetaMask wallet. We don't have to worry about any crypto or that. And then you can go in the house, and we launch episodes. So 2 days ago, we launched what we call episode 2. So the beauty of building these things custom is that we can keep adding to them as we go along. And so this can last forever. So you go in the house, and you can see there's some crypto. There's where the thumb war would launch, and these launch as little modals. So we also know that everybody's on the phone nowadays. So even though I recorded this off of a computer, it actually works on a tablet or a smartphone. The other piece that we could spend all day talking about is NFTs. And so we partnered with Campus.io, who are launching a bunch of NFTs within this space that you can win. So we're not asking the consumer to pay for anything, because then we have to start worrying about our client and the brand. But you can win them, and once you win them, the beautiful thing about the NFT is you own a piece of art, if you will, that's fairly scarce, of the Heismans, but you become part of the club. So now if I have that NFT in my hand and I go to that in real life Heisman and I show it, well, maybe you'll get a meet and greet. Or we can build a community and use the ledger to sort of connect with everybody that owns those NFTs. So we're really interested in this space as an agency not because of the fact that it's a collector thing, you can sell it, but the fact that it's an identity thing. And we can identify the individuals that own NFTs and speak to them, bring them together, drop them something exclusive, allow them to use it as an exclusive guest pass, and some things like that. So I don't know if you can scan this from here, but you all should spend some time in this space. And I'm going to say it's not perfect. We're learning. We're having fun. It really resonates with the consumers for Nissan because they've been in it for a long time, but this is a way of allowing everybody inclusively to experience the Heisman winners, play some games, and actually create some memories in this space. So with that said, because I want to leave some time for some questions, when you're looking at immersive virtual worlds or the metaversal-ish space, I would say 5 things. One is understand the landscape. Spend some time playing in there as a consumer, and then transfer it to your marketing knowledge and how you can utilize it to resonate with consumers. Explore it all. I just showed you we've gone the custom route, but we're not saying the other route's bad. We're just saying at this point in time, as advisors and consultants to the clients that we have, we're just taking a little bit different approach to it at the moment. But at least the experiences are very much the same. And so that's really the thoughtfulness piece. Like, think about what the challenges are for the end user. Think about what the friction points are. How can you make it exclusive, but explore it all? Because that's how you're going to learn and become better marketers. The other one is be fearless. Be fearless about integrating it into this marketing mix. Yes, you have advertising, social media, out-of-home, content, tons of touch points for consumers and brands in the marketing and communication mix. This is one that should get in there because it is one that's really, really immersive and it's really sensorial, and it's one of those places that you can really affect that sort of brand equity, create awareness of the brand, create consideration, and even possibly inspire purchase on that. The other one is define the role with the brand within, right? A lot of brands do partnerships or activate, whether it's an in real life sports thing, or maybe I'm going into Roblox. Make sure the brand has a role there, a purpose. It's not just a logo slap. Like, one of the things that's interesting about metaverse spaces is the fact that you can advertise in there. I can put up a banner with my logo, I can do that. Create a behavior, create a role so that brand actually is bringing some value. There's a value proposition to why the brand's there and why you would even interact with them in that space, whether that's in VR, AR, or a custom space. And then last, like I said, the key and the decisions we're making are really about reducing friction. How easy is it for somebody to go play and explore in that space? And then increasing inclusivity, right? A lot of events, a lot of different things. I need an app for that. I need to go and get a plane ticket. I need to drive and go somewhere. This always-on metaversal world is amazing because it's inclusive because everybody can come in at any time zone, at any time. And so that's why we really love it as part of our toolkit outside the traditional stuff. And then last but not least, marketing 101, differentiate, be unforgettable. It's something we live and breathe every day on how we consult clients. And I would just say, very important. And these are spaces that you can be unforgettable if you're willing to go there. So thank you. Thanks for the time. I will. You got 4 minutes?
Yeah, we have a few minutes now for questions. So Hayden, if you want to take any questions from over there, Jack, you can take questions from here. So if you have questions for Brian, put your hand up and we'll bring the mic to you. So I think we'll take the first question from right over there.
And don't ask me about crypto.
Oh.
Like I can't tell you any investment stuff.
Hello? Hi, I'm Sean Pierce. I'm from Illinois State. But I want to ask you, based on your experience in the VR market, well, I guess this is a two-part question. How relevant do you think the VR, I guess, lifestyle will be in society in 10 years? And how long do you think till families have VR headsets for their whole family where they're using it every night to watch let's say TV or something?
Yeah, we've been wrestling that. My first VR project was 8 years ago for Bacardi, and then 7 years ago for Lowe's. And we always used it as we brought the headsets to people. And then we did something at a baseball game where we handed out cardboards. But the problem was because they weren't cheap. Now they're $300, but that's still not cheap, or inexpensive, I should say. It's going to have to come down in price, right, for everybody to adopt it. And that's why we started out in a place where it was we were at events using VR. We could bring them to people at conferences and games and stuff like that. And now they've come down in price where now, the B2B thing, you can send it out to others. And then, people don't realize, yes, it's more immersive to have the goggles on your face and haptic, but you can also do VR like this. Right? You can go to YouTube and see, it's not the same, but it's close. So I think it's going to continue to grow, but it's going to really be the hardware manufacturers that bring the price down that is going to make it inclusive for people to own.
With that being said, do you think it will be as relevant as social media apps like TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram?
I don't think so, because I think the friction point is that. But I do think there is some really interesting hardware in the AR space. Remember Google Glass came out and everybody was super excited about it. And then as marketers, we tested and we never used it. But then engineers and medical fields started using it to have that AR layer to be able to train their people or get data real time while somebody's doing an operation. And I think that kind of application where you're sitting in real life situation and having augmented reality come across, I actually think that would be where I would hedge my bets, because I think it's easier to use. And plus, I don't know how many people have experienced VR headsets. There's some things I can do that I'm really comfortable with, and there's some stuff that makes me want to take Dramamine. And so some people don't like it either. So it's one of those things we're just going to have to see. But I do think the friction point is cost of entry for the hardware.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah.
You can scream it if you want to.
So I was gonna ask, you talked about how right now all the VR worlds are like islands,
Yeah.
and how yet they still need to like build the bridges between the islands. Do you think that will be a possibility at some point, or will companies kind of get in the way and try to make their like islands or worlds more exclusive?
There are so many opinions on that. It's amazing. But I think when everybody started talking metaverse, right? The theory was that we would be able to do these things across worlds, right? It would be something that was fluid or fluidity. And I just think right now there's some built on blockchain. Is Fortnite a metaverse? I don't know. I'm not that educated to tell you that, right? Or Roblox, to me, is a game, but people feel it's metaversal. And that's why we started calling it metaversal, because I haven't seen anything where you can take like, metaverse fashion's a big thing. It's really cool. But I can't get this shirt in one metaversal world and go wear it in another. And I think that's going to be the key. Is there going to be a common language or open source that allows consumers or participants to sort of go across worlds? I mean, I could see a point where there's 2 or 3 entities or platforms that decide, hey, we're going to make this happen, which would be an amazing thing because maybe that would break it open. I think we're going to get there. I think Eric had some great foundational thoughts in his presentation of where it could go in 2026 and beyond. But it's going to be up to those individuals building those platforms. Do they want to share?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Thank you.
And again, I would say I'm no expert. I'm a practitioner. I'm curious, I'm a marketer, I'm a creative, and I explore and we try to be thoughtful about what we bring to our clients. But at no time do I feel like I'm an expert in this space. I just practice this space.
All right. Well, I think because of time, we're going to move on. So let's, again, give Brian another round of applause.
Thank you.